Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Jasmine, and my flows are all about accessibility and meeting you where you are on the mat. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you. So, today's flow will be about moving our bodies and then finding some time to cool down into Shavasana. And before we get started, I really want to tap into a little bit of yoga philosophy so you can kind of see how I created the poses and the flow for this. So, for the past couple of days, I have been very inactive, not moving. I've been resting, taking some time off, and my body is like craving, this movement and really linking to balance. And it kind of taps into the yoga philosophy around the three gunas. So, to keep this very simple, there's three energies that our bodies typically are moving through, and the goal is that we are returning to or moving in between these two energies so we can be balanced. So the three energies are Sattva, which is your balance feeling, Rajas, which is motion, movement, and then you have Tajas, which is an active inertia, so lack of movement. And again, these past couple of days, I have been in a Taja state. So, really just relaxing. And now my body's like, hey, I want to balance that out and move a little bit. So, I'm tapping into our Rajas. So, with this flow, we will be moving our bodies, giving my body what it's craving for, that movement, and then we're gonna ease into a shavasana. So cooling down into that taja again, and that's creating the balance. So this is something that you can take off the mat as well. Really just kind of sitting with yourself and thinking about like how you've been moving lately. Are you moving a lot, not giving your body that time to relax, or has it been vice versa where you've been really relaxing and wanting to move a little? So that's something that you can take on and off the mat. And I really just want you to, check into that. And those are very just small, simple things that you can do and to incorporate yoga philosophy. So, enough chatting, but get into it. We have our blocks today. We will be utilizing them. So, feel free to grab them if you haven't already. And let's get into it. So, actually, we're going to start our practice in and I'm trying to get my blocks here. We're actually going to start our flow with a couple of rounds of a Sun Salutation 8. It's a variation, so it may not be the most pristine or the one that's textbook, but we're actually going to get our bodies moving. And then we're going to jump into a round of Vinyasa. So moving our bodies, and then we're going to actually cool down. So again, mixing up that yoga philosophy here on the mat. So let's get started. So, beginning in the center of our mat here, we're just gonna have our feet hip width apart here, having a slight bend in our knees, and let's get moving. Inhale to an extended mountain pose here. Exhale, rain it down to the floor to a forward fold. Feel free to grab your blocks if you like to here in your forward fold, or you can actually start working your hands toward the ground, a nice bend in your knee. Inhale, halfway lift, moving your shoulders away from your ears here. Exhale, rain it down. Stepping back to a plank pose. It could be on your knees or full. And we're going to come on down, lower to our bellies. Inhale to a cobra here. Exhale down. Pushing into a downward dog. Walking back to a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Inhale, forward fold again. And then inhale, sweeping your hands up. Returning back to your extended mountain pose. Exhale, rain it down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, rain it down. Stepping back to your plank pose, full or supported. Lowering down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower back down. Pushing up. Downward dog. Walking to your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Pushing into all four corners. Exhale, extended mountain pose. Exhale, rain it down. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, rain it down, forward fold. Stepping back to a plank, full or supported. Lowering down. Inhale, cobra of your choice. Exhale. Push up and back to a downward dog. Walking your feet to your hands here for a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, rain it down. Pushing up. Extended mountain pose. Lower down. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Plank, full or supported. Cobra of your choice. Downward dog. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Sweeping up. Extended mountain pose. Lower down. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Plank of your choice. Cobra. Lowering down. Downward dog. Walking your feet to your hands here. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Forward fold. Pushing into all four corners. Rising up. Extended mountain pose. We got one more, y'all. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Plank. Cobra. Downward dog. Walking your feet to your hands. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Sweeping your hands up here. Resting your hands to your side. Mountain pose. Whew, that felt so good. So that was our warm up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move into a couple of rounds of this vinyasa here. So again, we are starting in the center of our mat here, rolling our shoulders, catching our breath, feeling the heat for sure. For sure, for sure. Sitting down for a chair pose, lifting your arms up here in your chair pose. And imagine that you're holding a beach ball, giving your shoulders some space here in this chair pose. Rising up to an extended mountain pose. And now stepping your back leg, your right leg to the back here and opening up for your warrior two. Resting your front hand on your thigh and sweeping your right hand up here over your head for an extended side angle. Reverse your warrior. Now your front hand is sweeping over. You're resting your back hand on your leg here. Straighten your front leg. And we're going to bring on down to a triangle pose here. So hand can be resting on a block to bring the earth closer to you here, with your top hand either resting on your hip or pointing towards the ceiling. Rebend your front knee for warrior two. I'm just going to move my block over here. And now we're going to cartwheel here, framing our front hands, framing our front foot with our hands, and moving into a vinyasa. So supported plank or full plank here. Bring your crown forward, lowering down. Inhale, cobra of your choice. Exhale, lower down. Pushing up to downward dog. Feels familiar, right? Inhale, looking forward into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, rain it down. Pressing into your four corners, sweeping up to an extended mountain pose. Now returning to your mountain pose here, sitting into your chair pose, and let's repeat on the opposite side. Stand up here, and now we're opening up to our warrior two on the opposite side. So stepping your left leg back here into our warrior two. Placing your front hand on your front thigh and extending open or lifting your hand up here for an extended side angle. You can also take one of your blocks here, placing your hands again on that ground for your extended side angle, or you can rest your hand on your thigh. Reverse your warrior. Straighten your front leg into a triangle pose. Bending your front knee again, warrior two. Cartwheel to frame your front foot, stepping back to your plank pose of your choice. Lower down, inhale, cobra. Pushing into your downward dog. Inhale, looking at the top of your mat. And bringing your feet to meet your hands in a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bring it down. And sweeping your hands up, extended mountain pose. All right. Second round here. Chair pose. Straightening to your mountain, stepping back to warrior two. Extended side angle of your choice. Reverse your warrior. Triangle pose of your choice. Warrior two. Cartwheel, frame your front foot. Stepping back to your plank pose. Cobra. Downward dog. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Pressing into all four corners. Root to rise. Extended mountain pose. All right. Chair pose. Standing up straight. Going into your warrior two. Extended side angle of your choice. Reverse your warrior. Front knee still bent. Straighten your front leg. Triangle pose. Warrior two. Cartwheel, frame your front foot. Plank of your choice. Inhale, cobra. Lowering down. And instead of downward dog, we're going to push into a child's pose because we deserve this rest, right? Inhale, looking up. And now what we'll do is we're actually going to get into our cool down because we have been moving. I definitely feel the heat here. And now we're in a tabletop position to check our alignment, making sure our hips are over our knees, shoulders over our wrists here. And we're going to tap into a couple of cat cows here. So we're beginning to slow it down, cooling it down, tapping into that Taja state. So dropping your belly and gazing up at your eyebrows here. Eyebrows. The Texan just come out of me, it just jumped out. Exhale, round your spine here. Belly button to spine. Rounding your back here. And now repeating cat cow on your own for a couple of breaths. Tapping into your breath here, using it as a guide as you move through your cat cow pose. Return to a neutral spine here. And now we're going to tap into a puppy pose. So reaching out our hands here, pushing our hips back as if we're in a child's pose, but straightening your front arms here for our puppy pose. Working towards your chest, towards the ground, if that feels comfortable for you. Return to a neutral spine here. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring our crown forward here for a nice supported plank pose. So still bringing in that heat here, but not too much. Now bringing your hips or your knees wide apart, touching your big toes together. We're going to sit back into our hips here, into a child's pose. And I'm going to offer you a couple of different options here for your child's pose. So feel free to have your arms straightened out. If it feels a little tight in this narrow position, you can widen, there I go with my Texas slang. Widen your arms here like a field goal post and rest your head on the ground. You can place your head on your hands here and sit in your child's pose. You may be a little sweaty like myself, but hey, we moved our bodies today. Take your deepest inhale of today's practice so far. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. One more time. Pushing yourself up here into a tabletop position. and sweeping your legs around. And let's move to our Shavasana. So I'm going to move myself down the mat and I'm going to offer you a couple of different ways. And child, I am wet here. So feel free if you love that feeling of child's pose to return to child's pose for your Shavasana. If not, feel free to lay in the traditional Savasana here. So I'm going to just get on my back here. And even in Shavasana, you can have your feet planted on the ground with your knees inward here, or tap into the more traditional Shavasana. And the blocks are always there to say, hey, girl, with your legs straightened out. So you have a couple of different options for your Shavasana mindful moment at the end of today's practice. You can remain in child's pose if that feels good to you, or return to child's pose. More of the constructive rest here with your feet planted, or your traditional Shavasana. So find what's comfortable for you. And in your Shavasana, I'd like for you to think about how you can bring in the yoga philosophy of the three gunas. So, just taking mindful moments throughout your day, throughout the week, to really think about, what does my body need at this moment? Have I been moving and moving and moving? And can I find a moment to just sit? Or it could be the opposite. Have I been chilling to the max? And how can I bring a little bit of movement to my practice? So I like for you to think about that in your Shavasana. I will go quiet now, but I will come to get us out of Shavasana in a bit. Now, if you have more time to sit in Shavasana, I will always encourage you to do that. However, if you're coming out with the rest of the gang, begin to return to your surroundings. This could look like you opening your eyes if they have been closed, wiggling your fingers and toes, and just feeling your body wherever it is, under your bed, under the floor, under your mat, and feel the senses, how it's supporting you. Turning over to either the right or side in this fetal position before we get up. Mm, this feels so good. And pushing yourself up here. Whew. Thank you so much for flowing with me today. And I hope that you come back to this flow whenever you want to tap into a little bit of movement or slowing down a little bit. This is a great reminder that moving your body can help you find that balance that you need. Until next time, bye.